Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. We're back again to review the albums that we were, 2 albums each we picked that were given by each one of us. And this time, who's gonna start this time? Me? No. Marcia, you go first.
Okay. I seem to have lost my notes, so give me just a second.
Well, that's not very
I
professional.
always seem to
Yeah.
be leaving things. It's very
I gotta do
unprofessional.
some
of me.
editing now.
You guys should really can me for this. This is twice. All right. So I listened to DeWolf and then the Pretty Things Parachute. I'll start with Parachute since a bunch of us chose it this week. I'll start off with that one. So the first thing that came to mind when I listened to this album was, I know where Radiohead got Paranoid Android from, and they got it from In the Square. And I'm not the only one who thought that, because the internet is full of conversations of, did Radiohead steal Paranoid Android from Pretty Things?
Wow.
And I even watched a YouTube video that combined the two songs together,
Wow.
and you wouldn't know where one comes in and one leaves.
Really?
Except for the lyrics. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then listening to the rest of this album, there were other things that I also heard that I knew from somewhere, but I couldn't place it. The bass on Cries from the Midnight Circus, I know I have heard that in something else. I can't place it. And then Miss Faye Regrets is awesome and glammy, and I can only think that Mark Bolan heard that and said, this is the direction I'm taking Tyrannosaurus Rex into. She was tall, she was long, was in my head all day yesterday. There's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
It's pretty dense. I didn't even really pay that much attention to the lyrics because there's a lot going on. This is probably an album that I need to listen to about 20 times before the lyrics start getting in there all the way. But I am down with this album. I very, very much enjoyed it. It's an 8 for sure. And I'm sure
Whoa.
8 from
That's like a
Marcia.
10.
I scored. That's like a 20 from anybody else.
Yeah, that is off the charts.
Yeah, I liked this a lot, Glenn.
Ding, 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 ding. Holy crap. That just made my day.
Well, happy
Marcia
belated
8.
Christmas.
And what is that? Like an 8 when on your little
Oh,
chart?
an 8 is.
Oh, God. She is not prepared today at
my
all.
gosh. I'm all kinds of out of sorts here. An 8 is a pleasure principle.
Pleasure principle. Wow.
Yeah. It was
Holy
good. I
shit.
enjoyed that. In fact,
Let's see you guys top that today.
No
I
way.
went out looking for it yesterday. I went to Bright Light Books to see if I could find it, because I figured if anybody around here is going to have it, it would be them, and they didn't. So instead, I bought 12 more CDs.
Wow.
But yes, that was a great album and a great suggestion. So then I listened to DeWolf, and I can't recall the title.
Love, Death, and In Between, I think, is it? Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start out by saying last week I got on Lows to the Lows case for having too long of an album at 65 minutes long. So I got to do the same for this one at 67 minutes too.
Yeah.
It's a little too long, to say the least. There is a great album hiding in there, but to me, there's quite a bit of filler. And the back half of the album is really strong. To me, that's where it kicks in from Garbage Man on, except for the weak closing track. I was listening to it and I liked it a lot. The background ladies are fantastic. They bring a lot to it, but I kept listening to it wondering, like, what am I missing? There's something missing. And then it dawned on me, because Steve, you had compared this to Sly and the Family Stone and the Allman Brothers. And what it is the bass is too low in the mix. If you want to bring the soul, you want to bring the funk, you got to have a heavy driving bass line. And that's what I think this album is missing. Overall, I liked it. It wasn't terrible, but I'm not so certain I would pick it up if I came across it, unless it was just a couple of bucks. So I'm giving it a 6. It's a feeling all right.
Well, Marcia's
Yeah,
very
the
serious
the
today.
16.5-minute song kills that album.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
going to be reviewing that album too. So let's hold those thoughts.
All right.
All right, Chris.
All right.
Chris.
I also had Parachute. I also had Parachute. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Loud and clear.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I also had Parachute, and I thought it was a solid record. Just when I thought it was getting to be a little too much, something new would make me interested again, which was kind of cool. Like, for example, there is a track, Summertime, and the super tight drums on that. It just pulled me back in. So I really liked it. It was a little long for me. But ultimately I thought it was a really solid record. I think that if I give it more listens over time, this number will be higher, but I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Wow.
Now, Chris, I want to, if I can,
All
step in
right.
here. Did you
And
listen
my
to the
s-
deluxe edition or did you listen to the original release? Because I made the mistake of listening to the deluxe version the first time, which was like an hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, the original is
It
41
was
minutes.
probably that one.
Yeah.
Probably that one. So then that needs to be taken into consideration too. Yeah. So I liked it, but it kept going. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I like what I'm hearing, but it was pretty intense. So maybe
Yeah.
I'll go back and listen to the original.
That's one of the
Very
problems with streaming
good.
is they don't
The other one,
denote
I
what
had
the bonus
Captain
tracks
Beefheart.
are.
Yeah. Exactly. I wasn't sure. So the second one I had was Captain Beefheart, Clear Spot.
Right here.
I kind of was a breath of fresh air to hear them just play straight ahead.
Yep.
I enjoyed Trout Mask Replica, and I have Safe as Milk. But what I heard on this, I heard, like, for example, a little bit of the band War. I heard some like Stax Records kinds of influences on this, and of course the blues. But it's kind of like a Midnight Rambler kind of blues, which is really good, and I just really like that a lot. The last track was very Zappa, which I thought was pretty cool too. I like his more challenging stuff totally, but again, I have to admit it was nice to just kind of hear a record that I could easily wrap my brain around without having to think about it too much. I'm gonna give that one a 7 out of 10. I'm
Cool.
going to give that one a 7 out of 10. The only reason that it doesn't go higher for me is because I can't imagine listening to it a lot. So that's why I've stopped at a 7. But for its artistry and that overall atmosphere that's created, I'm in. That's 7 out of 10 for me.
Cool. And one thing we can all do when we're given an album, what I do is I go to Wikipedia and find the original album track listing. Right.
I do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you go to AllMusic, they'll tell you what the bonus tracks are, but Wikipedia will break it down. And I'm doing the 1001 album challenge, and so many of these albums released in the 60s and 70s on CD, they have deluxe bonus tracks, demos, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I know if I'm typing in an album from 71 and I find out it's an hour and 20 minutes, I'm like, is this really a double album or is it a single? And then I'll go to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is usually dead on.
Yeah. All right, Glenn.
Okay,
Smart.
well, I'll start with
Smart.
The Wolf because it's will remember how the comments came out there a few minutes ago on it. I gotta say, Steve, like, I don't know why you would present an album like this to us. It's just like really freaking good, man. Bought it immediately.
All right.
I
Take that,
absolutely love
Marsha.
it. It's a freaking soul review, and like you say, the could be more bass, but also if you're listening to the CD and on an audio system, the bass stands out a little bit more than it does on a phone or whatever,
Fair.
or whatever. So it is. I think there's more bass on it than you think there is. So Steve mentioned the track after Rosita is the best track on the album. 16 minutes of
Really? That's your favorite? Wow.
greatness. You guys don't like long songs.
Although you're a jam. I like long songs. I'm a big prog rock guy, but you're a big jam guy. I'm not a jam
Oh, I
guy.
freaking love that song. That's the start. That's the 10 out of 10 on that one. These guys are really, if you like this, Steve, you should be really listening to more Tedeschi Trust, because these guys are stealing their whole vibe.
Oh,
That's their whole thing, is the slide guitar and the female vocal, and kind of, I think I sent you that video of
You did, yes.
Tedeschi Trucks doing Sly and the Family Stone medley on their latest tour. They did it as an encore. It's incredible. And but I love this album. I love the vocals. I love that kind of soul review. You know, it reminds me of, every time I was hearing the songs rev up, it reminded me of Ike and Tina Turner's version of Proud Mary. It's that kind of same kind of building up with the soul thing, you know. And I think it's outstanding. I can hardly wait to get it in my house. I've been playing the hell out of it. So
You are a man of impeccable taste, Glenn.
and as are you, Steve. Where's my sheets? So I want to give it a 9. So I'm definitely, it started out basement worthy. And I don't know, it needs a bit more pepper. To 10, but it's freaking awesome. I loved it.
So is
And
a
I
9
think
your
it's a
official
great
score?
And I haven't been able to talk about it all week on my channel because I had to save. I didn't want anybody to know I bought it.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's frustrating me. I couldn't go on there and go, freaking record. Anyway,
So a 9 is your official score, right? A 9?
9.
Okay.
Good one, buddy.
All right.
Okay. Bit of a love fest today, isn't it?
Yeah.
For records.
I don't know
Marcia
about
give good scores.
Oh.
The Smiths. I've always thought, for some reason, this Morrissey guy just drives me nuts. He just irks me. I don't know why. And the Smiths, for one time I bought a Smiths, like a hits or a comp, like in a garage sale for $1 or something. I went home and played it, and I didn't like it. That's the only thing I know about the Smiths. Nothing else. I've never heard a Smiths album in my life. So I'm glad I chose it. I liked it better than I thought I would, because I was going in thinking this is going to be crap. And it wasn't. I liked the first track. I got a really good impression off the first track. I thought, oh, this might not be a bad album. And then loved the guitar in the second track. It was great guitar playing in that one. And then the next song's a disco dancer. It started to get a bit different than the first 2 tracks, which I liked. And then there's one song, Last Night I Dreamed That Somebody Loved Me. I think it starts off like first half, it's kind of like an instrumental, almost like a dirge to me. And then the vocals come in halfway through, and it gets very dreamy. I didn't mind it at all. But it's not something I would buy. But I'm glad I listened to it. So I'm going to give it a. Where did my thing go? I had it here. I had my sheet, and I've lost it. Okay, I'm giving it a 5.5 anyway.
Yeah.
So,
all right,
because it was, it's okay, but I just not for me.
Okay.
But I'm glad I heard it.
Steve, you're going last.
Okay.
I was given the Grateful Dead Anthem of the Sun. That's the only Grateful Dead album I ever bought back in the very early 70s, and except for the very beginning of it, like I couldn't, I didn't like it. And I've heard it since a little bit, but I played it a lot, Chris. I played it probably 7 or 8 times. And the first track, that's it for the other one. I love the first half of it. And then the second half, it gets kind of, like a freak out type thing. It was all right. New Potato Caboose. Is that Bob Weir that's on the vocals? Do you know? Or
Yeah,
what?
I think so. On
Yeah,
that one.
kind of weak
I think
vocals.
so. Yeah.
The song was like okay. Then Boring Cross-Eyed was good. It was actually a short song, about 3 minutes long. Alligator is my favorite song, even though it includes a drum solo that I'm not really a fan of, but that's a really good song. I really enjoyed that. And then the last track, Caution, Do Not Stop on the Tracks. It's just a bunch of stupid guitar feedback and all that, but it's listenable. I will give it overall a 7.5. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Now, Marcia offered Lola Kirk, Lady for Sale. I ain't gonna buy it.
I have been sitting on pins and needles waiting to hear a review ever since you put me in your Wanker video.
I listened
Include
to
a link to that in the bottom.
I only listened to it twice, but I only needed to listen to it once. The first song, it's like your typical new. What I got out of it was it's like new country.
It's very poppy. It's very country. It's very 80s.
But the positive is she's very talented. She's got a great voice. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not my kind of music. So I was angry while listening to it. No. I will give it, for my own personal rating, I'll give it a 5 out of 10, like halfway, because it wasn't bad.
That's
just not
totally
just not my thing, man.
That is Larry's lowest score ever.
Really? Oh.
Yes, that hurts, doesn't it, Marcia?
Yeah, it does hurt.
No, I'm okay with it, Steve. Trust me. I have been hurt by a lot of men in my life. That's nothing.
So, Steve, I was going to leave you out. Did you want to review your 2 albums or not?
It's up to the people, I guess. Let's see. I selected Parachute also, and the Smiths. So I will get into Parachute. Like I said, when I made the pick, I've had the album a long time. I know it pretty well. Just been a long time since I listened to it, and I love the first 3 albums because they're very Rolling Stone like, their first 3 albums, and then you get SF Sorrow, and they make that little shift and change in their sound. And this album kind of is like a continuation to me of SF Sorrow. So my favorite era of Pretty Things is actually the 2 albums, Silk Torpedo and Savage Eye, which are, I think, 75, 76. I love those albums. So those I give like a 9. So Parachute, I am giving an 8. So Parachute has done quite well. That's 20 points for Parachute today, Glenn.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've heard the old, like I have it too, and I give it at least a 8.5.
Yeah. All right, and then next I chose the Smiths. Like I said, I chose them mainly because Brian at Embryonic Robot, he had done a breakdown of he went through every song from their discography. I know it's only 4 albums, but still, however many songs that was. And I had told him, I said, yeah, I'll check it out. So this gave me a good opportunity to do so. First thing off, I'll say is I like the songs. I like the guitar playing. I like the melodies. I'm not a big fan of his voice. To me, it's how I kind of feel about Billy Joel. Billy Joel, it's just a very vanilla voice, and that's the same thing I get with Morrissey. It's just there. It's teetering between annoying and I can take it. I can live with it. So Yeah, I think there was really only one song I really, really liked. And what song was that? That was That One's Elbow. I think I like his stuff when he's doing the slower tunes instead of the ones that I don't even know if you could call a lot of these songs up tempo, but there's songs that are more up tempo than others within the album itself. So I am giving the album a 6.
Okay, so that's it, and we will be back in the next episode to give out 2 more albums each, and I'm going to post this New Year's Day, so Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, and remember to leave a comment below and like the video and check out all of the channels. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.